my mom is so Mexican. I mean, when I say tequila is a cure for everything. If you broke your ankle, tequila. If if you got a splinter, tequila.
Your mom sounds awesome.
Oh my God. She goes, Aimee, I come to LA and I don't want kale chips. I don't want kale chips. I want Lay's potato chips. I don't want the kale. So,
Wait.
okay, you know what? Just go this way. It's fine. Just go normal way.
Okay.
And I'll just talk to you. Or just do it normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
So I'm here with Humberto, who I've known forever. I'm so proud of him, you guys. Now he's a bigwig with his own studio. But I'm OG.
You are OG.
Old school.
And you still look the same, though. That's the thing.
Love him. Awesome. I love it. Just something fun,
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank
All right.
you.
No, thank you. Thank you for putting me on here. So, are you ready?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
everything
ready.
good? Okay. Aimee Garcia,
Yes.
you're on Checkitow.
Yeah, see.
So you're also, see, we're going to practice some of our Spanish too. Because you don't have like a Spanish accent like I do. I grew up in Miami, but like growing up bilingually. So like if I heard you on the phone, I couldn't tell you were Latina.
Really?
Well, you have like, you grew up in Chicago, right?
Oh, no le digas eso a mi mamá.
Ah, but your you know what's funny? Mi español, cuando yo hablo español, is a little bit like Americanized.
Spanish is my first language, yo.
Your Spanish is perfect, but so's your English.
Ah,
You're good at what you learn, I can see. We're gonna get to that, but first let's get to the Addams Family.
Yes.
So you're on the Addams Family.
I am.
Did you watch the Addams Family as a kid, like the reruns in black and white?
I did. I was always a huge Wednesday Addams fan. I'm the polar opposite of her, so she secretly was my inner spirit animal that I could never let out. Because I'm like Susie Sunshine all the time. But I loved it, and I loved, Raul was amazing.
Yes.
Talk about a
Well, now
badass
you're talking
Latino
about the
actor.
Addams Family movie now.
Oh, I'm
with
talking
Raul
about the movie.
Julia.
That's right. Yeah. Oh,
but
then
there was
also,
originally a like a black and white TV show.
Yes. I remember seeing reruns of that. Who was the guy in that?
Well, I don't remember his name, but the character was named Gomez. So for me,
yeah.
it was like one of the few Latino
our people.
characters. Yeah, that's actually like an old school television, black and white. You wouldn't see that except for maybe I Love Lucy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I think it's the perfect time to bring it back because it's for every generation, right? So if you know Addams Family, it's cool. And if you're 10 or you have kids who are 8 or whatever, they don't know what you're talking about. And I think it's something for everybody. I actually just, on the way over here, watched a music video of Christina Aguilera's song. I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm in the movie and doing, I'm talking about it all day today, and I'm learning more and more about the movie, and I'm geeking out over the movie. I'm like, that's so cool. I didn't know Snoop Dogg was Cousin Kit, and Christina Aguilera's, doing music for it, and Migos is doing music for it, and I'm a huge fan of Karol G, and she's going to be at the premiere, and I'm going to try my best not to fangirl over her, and I just feel like it's going to be such a fun. It's like cool for the parents.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun for the kids.
Yeah, it's
so
one
I feel
of those
like
movies
it's
that's
not a movie where you take a nap.
it's cross-generational because, the parents saw the movie in the early 90s, and then grandparents might have seen, the 60s, 70s
That's
TV
true.
shows. So like grandma, the parent mom,
Yeah.
and the kid can go watch this movie all together.
Yeah, and the kiddos, or the little cousens.
Cousin
Little primos.
I love Cousin In with the hair and stuff like that. It was a trippy show if you watch the original. But and then there was and then they used to play the rerun of Munsters. I'm taking it back to like when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I'm watching like the Addams Family and the Munsters, these black and white shows. It was before my time, everybody. All right, I'm not dating myself. I'm just this is back when they used to do the reruns. Tell me about the character you're playing.
So I play Denise, and I play a camera girl, and I work with the villain, the supervillain. I don't know she's the supervillain yet, but Allison Janney's incredible. And what I'm really excited about was the role wasn't written Latina. I mean, Denise, isn't, I guess, the most Latin name. And I went in and I got it. And during the recording session, I added in a little Spanish, just off the cuff improv. And I thought, ¿por qué no? I'm just gonna add in a little Espanol. And the thing is, these are bigwigs. Literally, Charlize Theron is in the other room because she's next. And I know they're in a rush. And these guys are bigwig, filmmakers. And it's an MGM movie. And I thought, I don't care. I'm still gonna add in un poco de español. And I can't remember what I did. I don't know if I said like like, Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo. I don't know if I started praying and be like, ay, estoy asustada. I can't remember what I said, but I said something in Spanish, and they kept it in the movie. And then they made Denise Latina, y la dibujaron. They drew her Latina.
That's amazing. Okay, so this is how, just, we're always talking about how we can make more opportunities for our community in Hollywood, and we're often running into dead ends. Little things like this are actually big things. The fact that you were able to slip it in there and just kind of like take the initiative to create that, and it's going to have, an effect, because, little kids, little Latina girls are going to watch this and realize, okay, you know what, they're part of the characters too. And the fact that it wasn't written that way and you made it happen, okay, you got to do that now from now on.
Oh, well, thank you. It is those little wins. And I guess you're right. In that moment, it was a very intimidating environment, because literally I can see Charlize, who I love, who I have, multiple Oscar winner, major movie star. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to make her late. I don't want her to wait. And then I thought, you know what? I'm a pro. They asked me to be a part of this team. And part of being part of this team is making it yours and making it even better. And they can always not use it, but I'm a big person on no regrets. I'd rather regret what I did than what I didn't do. And I said, if I get in that car and don't speak a little bit of Spanish, I'm going to always wonder if they would have kept it in.
Right.
But even if I spoke Spanish and they didn't keep it in, I'll say, oh, well, I tried. I put it in there. And I find that people love that stuff. People love when you turn on, music that isn't just mainstream. And I love, and like we are mainstream too, right? But today we were doing like hair and makeup, and I thought, I'm going to put some Karol G, and I'm going to put on some Migos, and everyone loved it, and it got everyone in a great mood. So I think I am. I've become more of a writer now. I don't know if you know that. And
tell me more about that.
Yes. So I'm writing the Glow comic books based on the Netflix show. So I'm writing 4 comic issues for them that come out in November.
Oh, wow.
And I got to add some Spanish in there as well. And I got to, my girl Shakira's on the show.
Nice.
She plays the Mexican girl on the show. And I said, girl, I'm going to pitch to Netflix that you're going to be the major beeline story through the whole 4-issue arc. Netflix loved it.
Right.
And I thought, the power of the pen.
So it's, okay, so you're right. So this is an animated series based on the show, or a comic book?
A comic book.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, because you had to get Netflix's permission to do, I see.
Yeah, so
okay.
Netflix approves all our script. I actually just got an email that Netflix gave us no notes. My writing partner's Latina. She's Puerto Rican. And I'm writing the Glow comic books that are going to be out in November. And they kind of gave us free reign to just highlight whichever characters we want. And what
Nice.
did I do? Of course, I highlighted my girl.
Perfect.
And I called Shakira up. I go, Shakira, I'm going to write for you. And they loved it, and
now,
she's
can
a
it
major
turn,
story.
How can these things then become, can they go over to the live action side, or maybe, an animated?
Well, that's something different. So I also want to create a Latina superhero to do that specifically.
Okay.
And that's next steps, but
You're going to play the Latina superhero, right?
Oh.
You're going to think of yourself as this
well,
one.
we'll see. I might make her like 13 or something,
Okay,
right?
that's cool.
For the next
True.
generation.
Did you ever see the original Glows? Have you ever seen
Oh,
footage
yeah.
of the original?
Gorgeous
I remember
Ladies
that.
of Wrestling.
Yeah, I
Of
saw that when
course.
I was a kid. I was like, 6, 7 years old, whatever. I couldn't go to sleep at night. I had parents that didn't pay attention to me, so I'd like sneak and watch. Oh, what's on TV in the middle of the night? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I remember that. I remember the Hawaiian lady. So when I
Yeah.
saw the show, most people didn't realize that was based on a real thing that happened in the mid '80s.
Yeah, it's based
Yeah.
on a real thing, and talk about trailblazers.
Right.
And I thought, oh my God. And what I love is it's funny, it's irreverent, and that's our sensibility as
Right.
writers, where I thought, what a great entrance. And I was nervous. You know how, it's funny. So you know how like do it yourself we are?
Right.
And I guess I can say this now, because we didn't know how to write comic books. We got this offer because we pitched them the Latina superhero, and they loved it.
But you pitched it as a comic book,
I pitched it as a comic book. And
not having written any comic book ever in your life.
correct.
Wow.
Correct. How are you going to learn if you don't do it, right?
Right.
So they said, we love your voice. We love your idea. Will you guys, in the meantime, while we're doing your own thing, will you guys write these Glow comics? YouTube, how do you write a comic?
That's hilarious.
We literally taught ourselves.
Well, the good thing is that it's mostly in script form.
It's mostly in
Yeah.
script form, yeah. But you write it almost like a movie. So
Right.
you'll write panel 1, panel 2.
Right,
so
right.
you almost write it like a storyboard for
Yeah.
a film. And all of a sudden now I'm on something else I can't talk about, which is a big deal. They're going to announce next year. They asked me to maybe write a comic for that to coincide with the show, because I'm the first biracial family in this universe, which I can't talk about because working for them is like working for the CIA. And then another big company, which I can't talk, came to us and said, "Will you revamp this superhero?"
Now, you've established yourself as an actress both in film and television, but is writing the thing? Because I know you studied journalism
I did.
at Northwestern.
Good memory, yeah.
Yeah. And you studied journalism and economics, right?
I studied journalist economics and French. Yeah, I'm a major nerd.
You're incredibly smart. Well, the smart women
I
are
don't
the
know about
sexiest
smart.
women.
I think I just work really hard.
No, I think you're smart.
You know what I say about me? And I mean this in general. I think smart people sometimes are really depressive. I think I'm smart, like I have 3 degrees, whatever. But I'm just dumb enough to be happy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm smart, but I also am very whimsical and I love life.
Well, you know what's funny though is that the way that you look, you have like dark features, and I don't just mean like skin tone, like dark hair, dark eyes. For me, I think that's very sexy. I'm more a brunette person than a brunette guy than a blonde guy. But and a lot of the roles that you get are in gritty, projects, and I feel that because you have, and take this as a compliment, you have a little darkness in your eyes.
Oh.
And so I wonder if
I've
that's
never
why
been told that.
you fit in some of these like edgier, grittier, crime-driven kind of
Well, you
things.
know what? I think I'm the comedy and the sun in those dark worlds.
True.
Like in Dexter, which is very dark,
Right.
I was the nanny and I was the light, and I didn't know he was a serial killer. And I'm like, look, and one of my favorite voiceovers from that show is, serial killer bested by 100-pound nanny. Because I said, mira, like I made this dinner, I made like chicharrones, I made arroz, con gandules, so you better stay, otherwise you're gonna take care of Harrison. And so I, like my Latina, she bested a serial killer y le hizo caso.
True.
So I love that. And then on Lucifer, I play such a goofball. I mean, I'm
Totally.
definitely comedic
Totally.
in the dark world.
But comedic within the dark world.
That's
because
right.
if
That's
you're just
right.
light upon light and
Yeah.
you're just like airy and sunny completely in every facet, it might not fit. So when I talk to you, getting to know you, you see that light and obviously you see that you can be a goofball and you can be the comedy. But there's something about you that seems like you can handle being in a dark, gritty environment or storyline or whatever. Like you can handle being the goofball. You don't need to be surrounded by other goofballs.
Oh, no. I love skulls. Like, this is my jam. Dia de los Muertos all day long. I have skulls, like, all over my house.
That's awesome.
Because you're right. I do write. I'm writing a horror movie, like Addams Family. I say would fit right into Dexter, Lucifer, Addams Family, RoboCop. I mean, it's dark, but with an irreverent sense of humor.
Right.
And you're totally right. Like
Well-
I do have a little dark side.
And before I get to the next question, I gotta guess your sign. Are you a Libra?
No.
Okay, hold on. I get one more.
I mean, you have to know I'm at least fire.
Oh, I'm a fire too. You're not an Aries like me, so I would say you're a Leo. Okay. What? Oh, Sagittarius.
I'm a Sag.
That's what. And that's the most brutal. Because that's the wisest Sagittarius. The wisest fire sign, which is like the oldest, is Sagittarius. Like Aries is the first one. I'm an Aries.
Yeah.
You're just jumping and running and wanting to go forward. And Leo is a little bit more like on top of their step. And Sagittarius is always like a brooding kind of fire.
I feel like that's more Scorpio.
Well, Scorpio is not a fire. I'm talking about fires, but that whole
Oh.
section of the zodiac for me is the darkest in a good way, wisest. Also, the most feminine corner of the zodiac, right?
Yeah.
Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. I
Yeah.
just think of like a feminine energy.
Yeah.
And maybe like Aries, Taurus. That part of it is more masculine.
So you're
energy.
Aries?
I'm an Aries, yeah.
Ah.
And when I grew up in Miami, going to Catholic school, the last thing I would think that was that in my adult life I would be taking things like astrology seriously, but I do. All this new age stuff has gotten to me. And
Hey, we're 75% water. I mean,
Totally. And we're affected by gravity and all these
Yeah.
things. You'll get me on a tangent if I start
Yeah.
explaining the science behind it. But going back to being a writer, because I'm a writer myself, and I'm actually trying to get certain projects off the ground. And I have a book coming out on the Cuban kids who started the rave scene in Miami that I
Oh,
was kind of a
nice.
part of when I was in high school back in the day, and they got it over their head and stuff. And we're always running into these factors where Hollywood, that's mostly Latino, Latinx people, reading these stories, and they're trying to relate, and often they can if they give the stories a chance, with Latin characters. But sometimes there's a little gap of relatability that we need to jump to get our stories, more into the zeitgeist. And I think that we can do that mostly by writing. So when you're pitching these storylines, and a lot of times they're emphasizing, Latin characters, Latinx characters, what kind of challenges are you running into? You're obviously succeeding. You're obviously getting through, over that hump. How do you get non-Latin, executives and studio and network people to understand, the universal appeal of Latin characters? It's not just going to be, a Latin audience that can watch your stuff. It's a wide audience. How have you gotten them to give you that chance?
To be honest, they have come to me.
Okay.
So I had, I was interviewed by the New York Times for El Chicano when that came out, and they said, "Look, I hope you don't take this personally, but, or I hope you're not offended, but I don't think of you as Latina necessarily. I think of you as Aimee Garcia."
Right.
And I thought, well, I'm definitely Latina, but when you think The Rock, you just think The Rock. I don't think you think of him as one thing or the other, as a wrestler, as Pacific Islander. You just think of him as The Rock. And I thought, well, good. I should be, I should be myself, Aimee Garcia. And whether you think of me as Latina or not Latina, I'm both. And I guess I guess I just write very personally, and I think very personal writing is very universal writing. Right. So when I go into these meetings, I say, we're all very relatable. I mean, you don't have to be Mexican or Cuban or Puerto Rican or Irish to relate to an overbearing mom. Right. That's just like, helicopter parenting you, and ¿a qué horas vas a venir? And where you gonna, or when you gonna have kids? When are gonna have my grandkids? I think that's Italian and Jewish and Brazilian and American. Right. And so I guess I just have my filter. I'm very Midwest. Right. Spanish is my first language. Right. I love the Cubs, but when I go to Mexico and when I go to Puerto Rico, it feels like home, but so does Chicago. So I speak from my filter of, my mom is so Mexican. I mean, when I say tequila is a cure for everything. If you broke your ankle, tequila. If you got a splinter, tequila.
Your mom sounds awesome.
Oh my God. She goes, I go like this. I'm like, Mom. And then my dad's a trip. She's just so funny. She loves, I was telling them, she goes, Aimee, I come to LA and I don't want kale chips. I don't want kale chips. I want Lay's potato chips. I don't want the kale in my chips. And then she goes, I want chicken. Like when I was, a cousin of mine was vegan, and she's like, pero you can still have pollo.
Oh my
like,
God.
No, Mom, vegan means no animal, And so she's so Mexican.
That's
and then
hilarious.
My dad
but with a Chicago sensibility, because no, you're vegan, you can eat the chicken.
Yeah, you can
That's
eat the
awesome.
chicken. And then my dad is like so loves to sing, loves to dance. Mm-hmm. He's super chubby, but thinks he's skinny. And he's like, I know how the anorexics feel. We're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, when the anorexics look in the mirror, they see a fat person. And when I look in the mirror, I see a fat man.
That's
but
hilarious.
I'm not fat. And he loves Star Wars, but he loves Mamma Mia, and he loves to sing. And, and so to me, when I tell people those stories about a chubby man who thinks he's skinny, you don't have to be Latino
Absolutely.
to crack up. That's so ridiculous. He has reverse body dysmorphia. Yeah. And I thought, and so that's when I go into these rooms and talk about that, or talk about the genre shows I loved. Mm-hmm. And like I said, Ella Lopez on Lucifer is the only Latina scientist on TV. Right. And I go all over the world to these Comic-Cons, and my fan base are 24-year-old tatted dudes and 8-year-old girls and 14-year-old nerds and 30-year-old moms, and I feel like they all see themselves in this girl
one way, shape,
that's
or form.
Latina.
Right.
And I would never think that a 24-year-old tatted dude who just rolled up in his motorcycle and slept on his motorcycle, to see me. And like I had a dude fly in from Japan, and he's like, you are my favorite. Yeah. I relate to you. And girls from the Middle East, and they all relate to Ella Lopez.
Yeah, because there's, everybody is, a sum of many parts. So somebody can always relate to something or someone that's unlike them externally, but that has something about their personality or their situation and all that stuff. And I think that you're an actress that really gets into the character and embodies those things. So I can see how, you're never mailing it in no matter what you're doing. That's one thing I appreciate you as an actress. So when you studied journalism and economics, how did it take a turn towards acting? How did you, were you intending? Because I know you were performing, most of your life, but did you intend to be an actress, but you're going to study these things? Or did you study those things intending to, be a journalist and whatever, financial news or what have you, political news, and then, you had the opportunity to act and you took it that way?
So I was a ham my whole life, and I danced and sang after I saw something on TV. I was like, tomorrow, tomorrow. And I started singing. And my mom had a friend who was an agent and said, you should really put her in commercials. And my Mexican mom was like, but she's not so cute. Oh my God. She's not so cute.
What a Mexican mom.
She was like, what a personality. Oh my goodness, God. What a personality. Pero she's just not so cute. And so they needed a dancer for a commercial. My mom was like, this she can do. And then I started dancing. I started as a dancer, and then I started doing commercials. And I'm from Chicago, so I started doing commercials with Michael Jordan and Sammy Sosa. And because I'm bilingual, I would be like, you should eat fries. And be like, deben de comer las papitas fritas. And I did both. And I remember just loving it. It was never really a job. And my parents were like, look, if you want to quit, whatever. And I never thought it was a job. And the only time I quit acting, so acting helped pay for college, and the only time I quit acting was when I graduated college. And then I thought, well, I don't need to act to pay for school anymore. Right. And it went pretty well. Like, I screen tested for Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was down to, ironically, it was down to 5 girls. It was down to Christina Ricci, Claire Danes, Natalie Portman, Reese Witherspoon, and myself.
A hell of a roster.
Hell of a roster. I did
Christina
not...
Ricci, who played Wednesday in the Addams Family.
Exactly, ironically. And I geeked out over her, by the way. I saw her at Comic-Con, and I have Instagram story.
She's an awesome, strange person. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I was in London Comic-Con with her, and I was like, oh my God. I was just in the
elevator. Don't you guys live, because I read a story where you live in a treehouse in Los Feliz.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't she? I don't know, she used to live in Los Feliz.
I feel like she also lives in Los Feliz. Yeah. There's a lot of people, in that. But yeah, I geeked out when I met her, and I'm like, oh my God, because we did this London Comic-Con together. I didn't say anything. I don't know if she'll be at the premiere. I'll be very excited. But I had some opportunities but I didn't know what a screen test was.
Right.
I had Fox. Fox was at my door, and next thing I know, I'm flying to meet Baz Luhrmann in New York to star in this huge movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and screen test. And I didn't have any makeup. I didn't brush my hair. I was just a kid from Chicago who put herself on tape. And next thing I know, I'm on a plane. So I'm very blue collar in my career, I guess. It's just
what's incredible
no
is
one
that
in my family's in Hollywood.
Yeah. Most of those women were already known at the time. So not only are you competing against women who now today are big names, a few of them were already established names at the time.
They were
you were known competing with, wow.
Yeah, I just put in...
Claire Danes ended up getting the role.
Yes, Claire Danes ended up getting the role. But Claire Danes had already done My So-Called Life. Christina
I love My So-Called Life.
had already done Addams Family, I think. Natalie Portman had already done The Professional. Right. I mean, Reese Witherspoon, I think, had done everyone was
she
just...
did Fear.
Or Fear, that's right,
Mark
Fear.
Wahlberg.
And I was this new kid, this Latina, didn't know what was up. And my parents didn't know what was up because they know nothing about the business, and so
Maybe my daughter's cute. Maybe she's cute.
No, they were like, you are not very cute. I'd be like, Mom, am I pretty? And she'd be like, oh, you are beautiful.
Okay, I gotta tell you something. I'm gonna do some psychological stuff. Oh my gosh, from the inside.
I guess I'm beautiful on the inside, guys. I don't know.
So you're the type of woman that I'm easy. I like giving compliments to people that bring the compliment out. And some
Such
people
a
don't know how to,
Latin lover.
I know.
Yeah.
Some people don't take compliments well, though. But I feel that you'll take compliments well only because your mom didn't give you the pretty compliment that when somebody recognizes how beautiful you really are.
Oh, thank you.
See? So, okay, so thank you, Mom, for making it easy to give her compliments. Right?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm very honest with myself. So I'm not a tortured artist.
Right.
I'll watch my work and I'm like, oh, that could have landed a little better.
Right.
Or I'll watch and I'll be like, oh, so charming. Oh my God. Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. And so I just have a very, because I think self-love is really important, and I think that if we love ourselves, we can love others really hard.
Right.
And look, no one's perfect, and I think the world is in a crappy place right now.
Self-love. They can start with self-love.
Yeah,
a lot of people, yeah.
And it's like, give ourselves a break, man.
Right.
If you're in school and you have finals and you had a bad day, it's cool. Like if you're dealing with a broken heart and you don't want to get out of bed, that's cool.
Right.
Like if you are having your first kid earlier than expected and the nugget is keeping you up, like, cool. I mean, I just feel like if you're still living with your parents and you can't stand it, like, give yourself permission to be okay with all of that.
Well, and to sit, I was talking with a friend of mine last night, and he's going through a divorce, and there's some his ex is having trouble being alone right now, and my friend actually has an easy time being alone. I think that's me and my friends' problems, is that we have too much of an easy time being alone. But he's trying to convince her to spend some time alone and deal with whatever issues, the regrets, the pains, all that stuff. I remember when I dealt with I was engaged at one point. That's as close as I got to marriage, and I remember the year after, we decided it wasn't going to work out. We just didn't see it lasting, so we didn't want to go through with it. And I had to spend a year feeling that pain, like sitting in it, and not pushing it down, and because it's inevitably going to come up. So I think that a lot of people today, psychologically, they don't want to sit with pain or remorse or depression for the moment that it takes to process it. So they keep on just kind of like pushing it away, and it's always present. They never. So that's one thing I always tell my friends. If you're depressed, feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't turn away from it, because it's going to stick around until you just process it and look at it head on. Look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Deal with whatever hurt you. If somebody hurt you, like really get into it. So that's one thing that I think people should do.
And realize it's part of you, right? So we
Right.
all have different sides to us, and I think. That's what a lot of times I'll Instagram taking myself on a date Friday night, and I'll be like, is this sad or is this cool that I'm going to see Spider-Man by myself, on a Friday night? And I actually really enjoy my alone time. And if I'm ever dating someone, they got to be cool with that.
Yeah.
They got to know that I like my Aimee time.
Right.
And I'm not a clingy
Miami
girl.
time? Because I'm from Miami. Oh, my Aimee time.
My Aimee time, where I went to Iceland by myself. I just take myself out in Berlin if I'm doing Comic-Con.
Because you give
really
so
love
much
it.
of yourself, and you're especially since you have to interact with people, whether you're doing media, you're acting, you really have to like be around and open and available to people more so than the average person. So I can imagine, performers and people that work in entertainment really do need that, that separation. And sometimes when you're in a relationship with someone, especially if they're not in the industry, it's hard for them to gather why.
It's funny. I've had to break up with a couple guys because they're just a little clingy. And,
Listen,
and
I
my
can
friends
imagine
are like,
guys
you're...
becoming clingy.
Oh my God. So my friends are like, Aimee, you're like the dude in the relationship. You're the dude. I'm like, oh God, just let me be, man. I just want to watch football.
Let me be, man.
And they're
The
like,
Bears?
oh God.
Are you a Bears fan?
Yeah.
Let me ask you about what you were going to finish something about.
No, and then I was going to answer your question. And so I quit acting, and then I did finance for a year, and then I went back to acting and haven't looked back.
You worked in finance for a year?
Yeah. So
in
just
Chicago
to answer your
or New York?
question, in New York. So just to answer your question,
You are,
it's like
dude.
you quit. Yeah, I quit the love of my life, which is, making people smile and feel less alone and being a goofball. And then after a year of working in finance, I thought, I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
Because it was just a hobby until then. So anyway, to answer your question, I realized
amazing.
I never really finished.
But I think that gives
answering
you
your
more
question.
depth as an actress and as a writer. The fact that you had that experience, the fact that, you didn't spend all your life in this kind of, this very strange place of theater and entertainment, that you did study normal things that you did.
No, I lived with rats. I mean, my mom, I never brought my mom to where I lived in New York.
Where in New York did you live?
I lived in, I lived in Brooklyn before it was like cool.
Before Williamsburg became like the hipster paradise?
Exactly. I lived next door to these gangbangers who were super chill. I played with their kids all the time. I was super safe. I really enjoyed feeling
kind of like
protected
you
and
on
safe.
Dexter. You're oblivious to like the criminals around because you get along with them. They respect you. Everything's
Yeah,
good. I'm gonna play
it's
with the
all
kids.
cool. I play with their kids. I was on their turf. I always felt safe. No one ever messed with me.
So there's a bunch of gangbangers in the back. They're loading their guns. You're not looking. You're playing with their kids. Aimee, can you watch our kid for about half an hour? We're gonna be right back. And you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Oh,
shit.
maybe that's why they asked me. Yeah, I just, I've had street food. I literally have been the person that brings her own cerveza to the bar to just save up. I mean,
That's hilarious. You
I've-
pull out a couple cans from your
yeah.
purse.
Oh yeah, my friends would make fun of me like, "Oh my God, Aimee just freaking." I
That's-
used to, before Coachella was cool. I used to go to Coachella. Oh my God, I used to go to Coachella and they didn't have any water. This is like pre-Coachella
Right.
being cool. I would go to Walmart or like Sam's Club, buy a bunch of waters, and then my boyfriend at the time had a pickup truck, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm just gonna sell some waters out here." So I would sell waters and then pay for my ticket.
Wow.
And my friend's like, "Aimee," I said,
That's
"Hey,
awesome.
I've been."
That's Mexican ingenuity.
It's Mexican ingenuity, It's you gotta
like
be
that.
resourceful.
I like that. That was more your Mexican side than your Puerto Rican side.
Yeah. That's definitely Eloisa.
That's so funny. Okay, so growing up in Chicago, are you friends with like the Chicago actresses like Nadine Velasquez?
Oh,
and
I
think
love Nadine.
Zule is also Zulay. I always
Yeah,
say her
and
name
Justina
wrong.
Machado,
Okay, yeah, that's right. And Gina Rodriguez.
Gina Rodriguez. Yeah, I did a movie
So
with
there's
Gina.
there's a Chicago Latina contingent among
Yeah.
actresses.
Yeah, actually, my first movie was Gina's first break. We did
What,
a
she
movie
plays the
called.
rapper?
No, we did a movie called Go For It a
Oh,
long time ago,
yeah,
where it
the
was kind of like
dancey
a
one.
flash dance.
Yeah.
And I did all my own dancing, and I actually remember, I remember Gina hadn't done anything,
Right.
and she flew herself out. This is how
Yeah.
committed she is. She flew herself out from Chicago to screen test with me to play my best friend. And she rocked it out of the park, and I thought, she's got to get this role.
Right.
And I told the director, she's gonna crush it, and she did. And from there, she
at her
got
now. My
I think Philly
gosh.
Brown, and then one thing led to another. But yeah, we go way back.
You Chicago ladies, though, I think, because I get a lot. Gina's another actress that's I've seen throughout the years, and we interview, every couple of years, and,
Yeah.
and she's really cool, and she remembers, and all these
Yeah.
things. And you guys have this Midwestern sensibility that maybe, Latinos from Miami, New York, or LA, kind of like it's a different vibe.
It
and in
is.
Chicago, you have a little bit of this Midwestern
We're very
thing going on.
grounded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
We're very friendly. We're not like I have, Natalie Martinez, and I was very Miami. So
Right.
my Miami girls are, first of all, they're all gorgeous.
Are they too much, though?
Not
It's
for
okay.
me.
I'm from Miami. Look, I
I
have a
mean-
joke. You can only have one Cuban from Miami in the room at the same time. If
Yeah.
you have two, it's gonna be crazy. If you, have three, it's a revolution.
You know
breaks
what's
out.
funny? When I'm dealing with a breakup, my Miami girls
Hell yeah.
will make me forget. I'll be like, who?
Yeah.
And so that is really, you need that
I'm
in
calling
your
the
life.
Miami Army.
Yeah, they got your back. And even if we don't talk for a year, or like, we get busy, they're shooting in Thailand and I'm shooting here, girls got my back. Like
Yeah.
if I were to text her right now, total Miami girl, you
Yeah.
know? She's super foxy hot. I mean, if I swung that way, I would totally be hitting on her.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
I'm a
Hi, you're funny.
fan of the junk. What can I say?
Have you ever been to Art Basel in Miami?
No.
You know what Art Basel
Yes,
is?
of
You gotta
course.
go.
I know I should go. When is it?
It's
in
the
the
first
fall,
week
right?
of December.
Of December?
Of December, yeah.
Maybe I'll go this
Yeah,
year.
it's a
but I'm
perfect
always
time to be in Miami.
working. Well, maybe if I'm not shooting.
December 8th, it's it's a little closer to Christmas, maybe.
Is it like Mardi Gras? Like insane?
It's just the entire art world goes to Miami and turns
Yeah.
South Beach and Wynwood, if you've ever been there, into just one huge art installation. And it's a cool mix of crowds because you'll have one event with like street artists, and Latinos are very big in street art, like some of the
Right.
big
I
street artists
love
names
street
and
art,
muralists,
yeah.
right? So they're there, and you got the hip hop ghetto street vibes.
Yeah.
Right next to it, you'll have a fine art event, and you'll have these Europeans and
Right.
kind of like the snooty types, but then they
Right.
kind of mix on the street, and it's just
Oh,
a
that's
real
cool.
collision course. And yeah, it's really cool, and I'm a big fan of art. So.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like street art. I never thought it was a Latin thing. Like I love street art. I literally will go. I do these Comic-Cons all over the world,
Right.
and I'll just take a day and just go look for street art. And I almost want to do a coffee book.
Yeah.
Of all the pictures.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That'd actually be a good idea. Really quick, because we're wrapping up a little, I want to get a few things in. Lucifer, what's the status of that? Is it coming back?
The status of that is we're the #1 binge show in the world.
Right.
We beat Stranger Things and Game of Thrones. And it's coming back because 8.5 million people around the world tweeted Save Lucifer.
Wow.
And once we got canceled on Fox, we got picked up on Lucifer. We are huge in Catholic countries for some reason. Brazil,
I wonder
Mexico.
why.
I mean, they like love our show. But we'll do the 5th and final. So it's a final season. We premiere next year.
Okay.
And 5 seasons, and I'm so proud of that show. Ella Lopez plays a forensic scientist, and I'm really, really excited that girls are now becoming scientists because they see her as a role model.
Right.
And to see these little Latinas with their glasses and wanting to be. I'm a major nerd. I have action figures at home, and I'm writing comic books, and I geek out and take myself to Spider-Man, on Friday nights 3 times. I am like a major nerd. Pero still Latina, so let's not get it twisted, okay? Once in a while on Instagram, I feel like tengo que poner una foto like así para que no se olviden. It's like I have so much nerd content up there, which I'm proud of. But once in a while, I'm like, but let's not forget I'm still Puerto Rican and Mexican.
There you go. It's funny that when you do that
Yeah.
face, that time you decided to say Puerto Rican first. I think that the Puerto Rican side of you comes out and says, we're going to take a hot picture now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm very proud of Lucifer. It's a great show, and now Addams Family. I think it's one of those things where what Addams Family is. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's not like it's for everybody, right? So if you have kids, like I'm taking my date. My date's gonna be my little co-star, Scarlett Estevez.
Nice.
Who who starred with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg on, I think it was like that Daddy movie or whatever.
Right.
And
Daddy
obviously,
issues.
exactly. Obviously, it's for kids, but it's a sexy movie.
Yeah?
I gotta say, it's like Snoop Dogg is doing a song, and Migos is doing a song, and
Yeah, the soundtrack's gonna be
Karol
amazing.
G's doing a song, and Christina Aguilera's doing this really sexy, almost burlesque song for Morticia, and she like puts her earrings on with staples, and she uses her parents' ashes for her blush.
That's so cool.
It's Dia de los Muertos shit. Like it's actually.
I like
it's
a little
really
of those
cool.
subversive things, because they always put something in there for the parents to be
Yeah.
like, ooh, did the kid catch that?
Yeah,
I like
that's what I'm saying. It's just like a cool, and I feel like it's very family oriented, but also like you fuck with me.
Yeah.
You fuck with my family.
I like that. I like that.
So I think it'll be
See,
just
but
a
that's
fun
the dark
movie.
side. That's the dark side that comes out of you when you say that. That goes back to why I think that you get cast fine as the sunshine, but in dark stuff.
I think that just might be my handle. Sunshine, ... and dark stuff. ...
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
That's a sexy sign. I think Scorpio, Sagittarius, Libra. Well, my mom's a Libra, so I think of that as more a nurturing sign. But
Yeah.
Scorpio and Sagittarius. those the
Scorpios are very
signs.
sexual.
They are.
They're the most sexual
They are.
sign.
Yeah, I'm actually involved with the Scorpio now, and yeah, it's dark eyes. But I
my
can
God.
handle Scorpios.
Yeah.
Scorpio, Sagittarius that's the brooding darkness.
They hold grudges, yo. Just be careful.
But can I tell you something?
But
There
they
was a study,
forgive. And
but-
she's very loyal. I don't know her,
Yeah.
but Scorpios are
no,
very
totally.
loyal.
Well, this particular person is.
Yeah.
Here's the
I
thing
love
with-
that I'm like, your girl's very loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This.
Based on her zodiac sign.
This matters. About Sagittarius though, they did a study of like 30 to 40 serial killers. Okay, and they did their signs,
jeez.
and there was only 4 signs represented. You would think Scorpio was in there, but wasn't in there. There was 1 fire, 1 water, 1 earth, and 1 air. All the different elements were represented. It was Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius.
You know why?
Why?
Sagittariuses are really charming.
So
Serial killers are very charming.
Yeah, well, the Sagittarius
do you-
ones are.
I mean, how do you think they get you downstairs?
Wow, that's
Cut out your heart.
hilarious.
Also very Aztec dark, see?
This is all you, though.
No, I'm
You
a
have to
lover.
play a Sagittarius serial killer that gets them down in the basement and cuts out their heart. It's going to hit all the notes that you're part of.
I would never do that.
Well, it's fiction.
It's funny. My guy friends are like, "Oh God, Garcia, heartbreaker, man. You're just." I'm like, I would never.
You
I'm
are
a
a
lover.
heartbreaker.
I'm a Latin lover. It's funny because you don't hear you don't hear like, oh, those Scandinavian lovers. Right. Oh, those Bangladeshi lovers.
Right.
Oh my God. What is the term?
Right, it's the Latin lover.
Latin
Got a lot to
lover.
live.
Somos Latin lovers. ¿Qué podemos hacer?
But it comes with a price sometimes. With a whole lot of heat comes a whole lot of fire. and
But would you live any other way?
No, I need
all heart. You know what I am? I go like this to the world, to everything. I'm like, here's my corazón. Here's my corazón.
Now where's yours?
And now where's yours?
Yeah.
Quid pro quo. No, I give my heart. I mean, it's painful to live that way with your heart. And I don't play it cool. I will literally tell you how I feel. I'm all heart.
Right.
But that comes with a price too. It's a little. I mean, I've gotten my heart broken too. Let's not just say, but
maybe you got your heart broken when you unintentionally broke their heart first.
Yeah, let's go with that. I like you. I like that.
I like that too. Last thing is, you seem very grounded for an actress.
Oh, thank you.
We talked about the Chicago thing and the fact that you study different things, and I think that plays a part of it.
The fact that I clean for the cleaning lady.
Yeah, I already clean.
Yeah, she's my boss.
What do you think, working in entertainment, what are some of the personal things, aside from your background, your upbringing and all that stuff, what are the personal things that you think you do or you practice to keep yourself grounded and just realistic about life in a way that, other people that work in entertainment kind of lose?
Oh, well, I mean, when I go to Mexico with my cousins, there's no hot water. You know what I mean? So I got to take showers in like 5.5 seconds. And just simple things. My grandfather died of a mosquito bite.
Wow.
From malaria. I mean, that's some third world country shit. So I guess I just remember I almost died when I was 4. I had pneumonia, and I literally remember that. The girl next to me didn't make it. It's so dark for a 4-year-old. I know.
Did you have any near-death experience? That you can remember?
I died. I think I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I remember I couldn't breathe on my own, and I remember no one would come visit the little girl, so my dad, being the big-hearted Puerto Rican he is, would sing to her, and she didn't make it.
Wow.
So I think from that day on, from the ripe young age of 4, I learned that tomorrow's not guaranteed, you guys. So I think realizing that now we live in a world where you could go to a concert and not come back.
Yeah.
You could go, and so just breathe and have solo dance parties if no one's around, and spend time with your grandparents if they're still around, and see your friends, because life is so fucking short, you guys. Right. It really is. I mean, again, this is coming from someone who I think died and came back. I don't know. But I remember the chick next to me did not make it. And I never got to meet my grandpa, and I feel like that always keeps me really grounded. Just look around. A lot of people don't have a car. They take a bus, and they got to take that shit at 4 a.m. We're not being shot at. We're not in the middle of war. We're in a place where if you want to start a business, you can start a business. I mean, I think just remembering that we just have to be really grateful. So whenever I feel bummed, you know what I do? Actually, this is so cheesy, but I write a letter of gratitude to myself. I know it's so cheesy, but I'll be like, I'm grateful for just so many things because life is really good. I'm sure she's a hot chick in your life. And even if you're feeling alone, know that you're not. Know that we're all in this together. Obviously, on my Instagram, I post the fun stuff. But, I mean, I get bummed out, too. Before Dexter, I got rejected 17 times in a row.
Wow.
I didn't get 17 auditions in a row.
Wow.
And I almost gave up. And I went home to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I can't do it. I'm crushing it in these auditions. They're saying they love me, but I'm not getting the job. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. What can I do? And my mom, she's a hard nut, my mom, but she's like, Aimee, you can quit, but if you quit, no one will see your gift.
Wow.
And I rose like the phoenix. It was like my Mexican mom. So what I'm saying is, even if you don't get 17 jobs in a row or get rejected, just keep going, because I think of it like baseball. To be in the Hall of Fame, your batting average is .3 something, which means that 7 out of 10 times you don't make contact with the friggin' ball. So just do base hits.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit home runs anymore. Maybe you just like going around and walking in the park or calling an old friend, or if you want to write. No regrets, people, because we all gonna die. Whether it's today, tomorrow, awesome. 50 years from now, that's what keeps me motivated.
Well, that motivated me. I'm inspired, and I'm grateful that you were on Check It Out. Aimee Garcia. Check her out in Addams Family.